They ain't see us coming till we hopped up on the stage. Now the fan base jumping like we dunking NBA. You gonna talk about the hood? Nah, I got something else to say. Intellectual convo, sprinkle with some game. This shit sounds serious. That ain't every day. Plus, Peasy got them jokes. You know that nigga always playing. Who's the white boy? That's nice, yo. Homie a G. He from the hood, plus he speak like he got a degree. What's up with XL? The guard, he a battling beast. Supreme knowledge and equality to round up the team. 4 dudes from the dirt with our eyes on the goal. Took coal, applied pressure, and made it a diamond throne.
You know what I'm saying? I bet. Welcome back, y'all. It's another edition of A Seat at the Throne. It's your man, Nice. I got Peasy with me. I got Excel with me. And today we have a very special guest. Probably the biggest guest that we've had on since we started doing this. He's a rapper, a producer, an entrepreneur. He's a radio personality at Shady 4-5, and he's hailing from Lawrence, Massachusetts. We got Termanology in the building, y'all.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Straight shook. I do what's on with you, homie, and it's a great look. Thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate it, man. We appreciate you pulling up, man.
That was a dope intro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Actually, it's all facts.
It's all facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's all facts, man. It
Word.
feels good to have somebody here that's from, Massachusetts. Somebody who's, humble and willing to pull up, man, because I'm sure you have a lot of things you could be doing.
For sure, yeah.
So,
That's cool, man. I'm a friend of the show, you know what I mean? I've been cool with XL and Peasy for a while, so I want to see my guys win. I follow them both. I've been watching clips of the show, you know what I mean, here and there. So, it's good to come contribute and support your people.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah, no doubt. We definitely appreciate having you on.
Appreciate you, King.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So let's get right into it, man. Who is Termanology?
Man, there's a lot of answers to that. I think most people know me as a rapper. My kids know me best for being a father. A lot of people know me from the movement I started, Good Dad Gang. A leader in my community, definitely give back to my community. Growing up in Lawrence, which is one of the poorest cities in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends who you ask, man. But, I wear a lot of hats and I affect a lot of people's life, in a positive manner.
Right. That's dope to be able to say that, man. I think we all wear a lot of hats. You know what I mean? I think it's just a part of life. You gotta know when to take one off and put another one on. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So you from Lawrence.
Yeah.
We know Lawrence is one of the, like you said, one of the poorest cities in Massachusetts, man.
Right.
It's the hood.
For sure. It's a lot like Brockton, man.
Yeah.
When I started coming to Brockton, it was like 2001, and I was relatively unknown. I used to do shows at this spot. It's called Joe Angelo's.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was getting $75 a show.
Right.
Shout out to Dion Point. Shout out to Hags, Rimino, all those guys. Mm-hmm. Nobody really knew who I was. I was very underground. This is before my first mixtape even dropped. Mm-hmm. They just knew me from battling. I used to battle and just have songs here and there I would give out on my CD. And Brockton was one of the first places that embraced me. So, I probably did about 20 shows here between 2001 and 2004.
Thanks.
So yeah, man, I've been tied in out here for a long time, and it's good to see the scene grow and the city grow, and it's good just to see all my brothers, move on and flourish and stuff like that, man. So, yeah. But it reminds me of home a lot,
Yeah, it's very similar.
It reminds me of the law for sure.
It's definitely very similar. Like even I've been to Lawrence before, you know what I'm saying? It looked pretty
even
similar,
looks like it. Like
you
close your eyes and you wake up on a street, it feels like a street from over there too.
Right.
Exactly.
Which is also why it felt like home too.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. So all right, I don't want to get too far. So I want to let the people kind of get to know you a little personal. Like, what was your childhood like?
Okay. Well, my childhood was kind of crazy. Like, I kind of tell the story in my music, but I'm sure I have a very similar story to like a lot of rappers and a lot of people that just grow up in urban communities. Just getting bounced around city to city, house to house, school to school.
Yeah.
And one statistic that really stands out to me, I moved 33 times by the time I was 9 years old.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is, you're talking about 5 times a year.
Why was that?
It was just me and my mom. So it was like we living at my aunt's house. We living at my other aunt's house. You know, we living in a shelter. You know, we living here, there, got evicted, whatever. For whatever reason, I went to a different school every year of my life until I finally moved to Haverhill. When my mom like got her stuff together, we ended up moving to Haverhill when I got older. And even there we moved a lot, but it was like I started getting somewhat of more stability. But the beginning stages of my life, I would say it was just a mess, you know.
Tough.
I grew up in a crack house. You know, everybody in my whole building was on crack. I mean, these make for good rhymes, you know. I'm sure
Right.
they make for good rhymes because they're real experiences that shaped me to be who I am, and they also made me a better father because I'm able to see like everything that happened to me and my sister, and everything that happened to all the people around me. I made sure that my kids never went through that. You know what I mean? So
you grew up in a single parent home with your moms, right?
Right. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, where was your pops?
So my pops was around. He was like a weekend dad. So, you know, the thing was like with him was he was just a workaholic. He was always working. So he was more focused on his work. So I would see him on the weekends, but I didn't really get along with him because like most of us, right, when we grow up with just our mom, it's like the whole household is bashing dad. Right. Dad ain't shit. He don't give a fuck. He cheated on your mom. He beat your mom. He's a piece of shit. He's deadbeat. He this, he that. So you grow up thinking that's him. And then when you get older, if you're lucky enough to get a good relationship with him, you realize he's just a regular man, just trying to make it work.
Figure it out, right? Yeah.
And then when I got older, I explained to him like, yo, why you left me like that? Like we didn't even have heat. We had roaches. We had to move every week. I'm over here living with murderers in my building, crack dealers. And why you leave me like that?
Right.
He like, I try to see you. Mom wouldn't let me see you. And I'm like, that's not how it was. Right. So then I start recalibrating everything in my brain and start rethinking my whole reality. What was it? Like, was he lying? Was she lying? Was everybody lying? Was it a little bit of both? Is it a lot of denial going on? But yeah, so that was around, you know, it was just, he was just real abusive and stuff like that. So we didn't have a good relationship until I became a man. And once I got older and I had my first daughter, it was like we clicked and then we became like best friends. It was funny. He didn't grow up with him in the household, but when I became a man, we became like that.
I was gonna ask you have a good relationship with him now, or
he passed away.
Yeah,
unfortunately, passed away last year in June. About to be the 1 year anniversary. So, you know, rest in peace, man. My dad was a good dude, yo. He was just all he knew how to do was how he grew up. He grew up Puerto Rican. He was born in Puerto Rico. He moved to Lawrence during one of the worst eras. He was just hood.
I see you was posting pictures. He was in the cars and all that, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in the cars heavily. Like he used to build like muscle cars and hot rods and like all kinds of cool, you know, stuff. And I get a lot of my waves from him. I didn't realize it until he died. When every single person in the funeral, you know, was coming up to me telling me all the things he did, and I'm like, man, that sounds like me. This is genealogy. This is not. These are genes. This is why I act like this. Now I get it. You know, talking about how he would work 100 hours a week and wouldn't even get paid, but he'll make sure that when that Mustang Eleanor leave out that door, that's a beauty. It looks like how it looked on TV.
Right.
And so that's how I am in the studio. Like, yeah, I get paid off for rap, but I've done more free songs than I've done paid. You know what I'm saying? So, and I spent countless hours in the studio working on my craft, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is where I got it from, you know. So
the workaholic mentality.
That part for sure.
No. So as you got older, did you realize it was a little bit of truth and a little bit of bullshit mixed in? Like Pops was kind of fucked up. He was whipping moms out, but moms was also kind of throwing some bullshit in there to kind of make me not. All right. So when once you realized that, right, did it make you kind of resent your moms a little bit, or did you say, you know, you understand, like, you know, sometimes people when they're angry, right, it's a secondary emotion, and it's usually like anger is just a behavior that we express, right? But there's underlying things. So she was hurt and things of that nature, or were you just like, yo, why were you, you know, kind of adding bullshit to it? How did it really feel?
No, I wasn't mad at her at all. I think that, you know, they were 20 when they had me. When you're 20, you're still a kid. You can't even rent a car till you're 25.
Right.
You can't even rent a car till you're 25. That tells you a lot. You can't drink alcohol till you're 21 in this country. So it's like, you know, and then them having me in that era, it's kind of like kids having kids. So they were just learning as they went along. Right. Now, mind you, I was born in 82. So my mom's trying to raise me as crack hit
Yeah.
I grew up in the crack era, in a crack house.
That's right.
Nobody had their pops.
Yeah, my father got strung out on crack too.
Right. So you feel me? So my mom wasn't on crack, but you know, she was doing her dirt too. And I don't fault her necessarily.
She had to survive.
She was just trying to survive, bro. And I think she did a great job. I tell her, she's like, oh, I wasn't the best mom. She always says that, but to me, she's an angel. You know, I know what she went through, and I can't even imagine, you know, raising 2 kids under them circumstances. Like, it's hard for me to raise my 2, and I'm very privileged. Like, I've worked really hard over my lifetime to make sure that I can give my kids better things. And she just had a kid when she was a kid, and she was all alone. So no, I don't have resentment towards her. And I really didn't. I think it was really like 90-10, and my dad was the problem. My mom was 10. I don't think it wasn't 50-50, you know?
Yeah.
I think he was a young man, and he ain't know no better. He just grew up. His dad whipped his ass, so he wanted to whip my ass. His dad whipped his mama ass, so he wanted to whip my mama ass.
Right.
It just was what it was. It's kind of like how he grew up, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Until he got older, he realized like, oh shit, that's pretty crazy. You can't just be whipping on people all the time.
Right.
And can't just be like deserting your children and leaving us. Cause he would go to Puerto Rico for 6 months. Mind you, there's no cell phone, there's no Instagram.
Yeah,
I wouldn't talk to him for 6 months. I'd be in the window crying with my dad.
You just dip
we had
off
to
and
walk
pop
to the
up.
payphone. I hope my mom got a couple dimes to put in, and hope he pick up. And I'm crying on his, your son's crying over here. Where you at? Oh, I'm in Puerto Rico. I'll see you next year. Like, so it's just, for me, I can't imagine going a day without talking to my kid. You know, I talk to my kid every day. Maybe my older one, maybe a week, because she's a little older, but I can't imagine going months, years without seeing my kids. It's just crazy to me. But times were different back then.
Yeah, it definitely was.
I
80s
feel
and
like
90s was crazy.
Yeah, 80s, 90s was definitely, people got, you know, of all background got caught up on that crack shit.
That's a
You know what
fact.
I'm saying?
It was put here for a purpose.
It invaded the communities real crazy. But what were your influences and inspirations? When did you start writing rhymes and get into rap? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so rap, like I started listening to rap real early. And you know, rap is just from the neighborhood. You go outside, they're playing it in the car, they're playing it in the building. And my first earliest influences was like Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube. You know, those are the guys that made me want to rap. Like 91, 92, 93.
Yeah.
I started rapping when I was 9 years old. So that was like 91.
You remember your first rhyme?
Same.
I remember it, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say bust it, but
Y'all don't want to hear it. My mom had a boyfriend at the time who used to freestyle in the house.
Okay.
Right. So even though he was a drug dealer and he was a gangster, but he used to rap. So I used to mimic his raps, and that taught me the cadence. And I memorized one rhyme, and I had that same rhyme for like 3 years. And then I kept busting that same rhyme at the parties, and everybody's like, what else you got? And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta write another rhyme. But mind you, I'm like 10, 11, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man. So shout out to Free, rest in peace. Freeze was really the person who taught me how to rap, him and this dude, J-Rock. So yeah, they taught me how to rhyme, but as a kid. But yeah, man, Snoop, Dre, and all of them. Then once I like fell in love with hip hop, where I could go buy a tape, buy a CD, you know, watch your MTV Raps every day. Then it became like Wu-Tang, Nas, and you know all the greats that we love. It became all of that. It became my love for lyricism and the struggle of me hearing, you know, Nas and these guys rap about like growing up in a building with people on crack and you're in the projects, and I'm like, this sound like my house.
Yeah, shit that was relatable.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It was
right.
relatable to me. The East Coast slang, the clothes they was wearing looked like the people from outside. So I've been in love with hip hop pretty much my whole life, you know, since I can remember.
I was gonna ask you, can you remember the moment or the thing you saw that was like, yo, I want to do this? Because I know for me, when I saw Nas, when I saw It Ain't Hard to Tell, I was like, he's a little motherfucker, he's a kid like me, you know what I'm saying, rapping. So I just wanted to ask you if there was a moment that you can remember that when you seen or something you watched, I was like, yo, this is what I want to do with my life.
To be honest, bro, like Crisscross. Crisscross Jump.
That's
like,
crazy though. Chris. That song was fire back in the day though.
Like, cause me,
We
right?
was all wearing our clothes back then.
Yeah, we was.
That's
though.
what I'm saying. I was in 3rd grade. I went to school with my suspenders on backwards, and I got suspended.
I remember going with my pants on backwards.
Yeah.
They made me turn them
Yeah.
around.
Nah, facts. She was like, go put it out. I'm like, I'm not changing it. This is how you could dress. She's like, all right, get them out of here. But I think just seeing them as kids, I think that they made me feel like I could do it.
Right.
They made me feel like, all right, I could do that. Not that I was too young to act on it, but it definitely planted a seed in my brain that They were fresh. They had the nice jerseys on. There was two of them. Yeah. You know, I had my mans with me. He was dark skinned. I was light skinned. I'm like, yo, we like this, bro. Yo, we can do this shit, bro. Like, I felt like that. I felt like it was a thing. So that shit definitely like inspired me. I wasn't really inspired by like kid rappers. I was more inspired by the gangsters because they were talking about what was going on, and more inspired by the people that was in my house, like, you know, rapping in my house. But yeah, man, once I got like into rap, once I got the Chronic tape in '92, I memorized the entire Chronic tape, and I would flip it over, flip it over, and just hear it every day. Right. Mind you, a 10-year-old shouldn't be listening to that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
my mother took mine.
Yeah, my first tape
it was a different time back then, though.
And they took my tape. That was a funny era. It's like your mom had to take your tape away.
That's what I'm saying.
She didn't want to hear you that shit.
Yeah, you can't hear that shit. Yo, you brought up your mans. You know your man Easy. That's my guy.
Yeah, Easy Money. That's my brother.
My man. When did you meet Easy?
Easy.
Shout out to Easy, man.
I met Easy when my mom first moved to Haverhill from Lawrence. So my dad stayed in Lawrence and my mother moved to Haverhill. That's why you might hear some people say I'm from Haverhill, some people say I'm from Lawrence. I'm really from both. Right. But me and my whole family were from Lawrence. That being said, when I first moved to Haverhill, I met Easy in the park. He was playing football with his peoples, and I was climbing the tree, and they were short of man. So he came up like, yo, what's up? Yo, you want to come play football with us? And I got down and we've been clicked up ever since. And we were like 12 years old, 12, 13. So yeah, Easy Money, my guy, man. That's my brother.
That's how it goes. You had ST the squad, right?
Yeah.
How'd that start? Who started that? That was you and Easy?
So it started with just me and Ed, right? Yep. I was a solo rapper, Termanology. He was Ed Rock. And then when we combined to make a group, we became Street. Speaking through real experience every time, which was originally speaking through real experience Ed and Term. And then when we added all the other guys, it's ST the squad. So me and Easy squad, ST's squad.
Got you.
So Street squad, me and Easy squad. Then we grab Superstar Snuck. Then we grab Artisan, DJ Deadeye, you know, all the rest of the guys.
Deadeye, my God. Shout out to Deadeye.
Yeah. My man. Then we added the rest of the team. But we've been a family, you know, for that long, 20 years, all of us.
Yeah, no doubt.
Y'all been in the game for a while doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
So you got some history. So let me ask you a question. You feel like there's a divide between like Boston artists and artists outside of Boston?
Like, you mean like globally or nationally?
I mean in Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's always been hard to come up through the Boston scene. Especially in my day, there really wasn't too much of a scene, and it was very divided. It was like that hood rap, that grimy rap, that Dorchester, Roxbury rap, the street rap. Then you had like the more like beginning of like conscious rap, underground, more like Mr. Liff and esoteric, acrobatic. So you had like the conscious backpack rap, then you had like the street rap of like the ghettos of Boston. And then we're coming from Lawrence, Haverhill, Lowell, Brockton. We're coming from outside. So just us being there, we were always outsiders. But, you know, you put in enough work and you show people your character and then you get embraced, you know. So Boston as a city definitely has embraced me. But I had to earn mine, though. They weren't just giving it up. It was like, who are you? Lawrence?
The fuck is
Lawrence
that?
From Lawrence. Fuck is that? It was like, it wasn't love in the beginning. It was earned,
1,000%.
You know?
Yeah, I experienced that when I first started going out around that way.
It's better now. Now it's like joiners from Worcester, Millie's from Cambridge. We're all from somewhere else, you know. Token is from Salem, Mass.
You got Knack from Lynn.
Yeah, Knack from Lynn. Like I'm from the law. You could be from anywhere now. Now, you know, in the beginning though, it was like, woo. It was a lot tougher. You had to really earn yours. You had to. No, it's still clicky. It always will be. That's just rap, and that's just the streets, because the streets tie in with rap. But I think that people are embracing other cultures and other cities more now than when I first started. And when I refer to when I first started, I'm referring to like late 90s, early 2000s. You know, because I've been doing shows since like 99. So a lot of things changed since then.
So, but another thing though, why do you think artists have to move out of state to achieve success or gain recognition from mass?
Well, in Massachusetts, there's not a lot of infrastructure with industry.
Right.
There's not like, you know, you can go out on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in New York, and you can end up in a club with Jay-Z. You can end up in a club with Russell Simmons. You can end up in a club with the person who owns Ewing Athletics. You can the industry and the infrastructure is in New York City. And that's usually why I moved to New York. I moved to New York in 07 because I hit a ceiling in Mass. I did as much as I could. I dropped Watch How I Go Down with Primo. I started going on world tours. I was bigger in London than I was in Mass.
Right.
Because you're hitting a ceiling. It's a very small place. And so, Static moved to New York in 04. I moved in 07. I think Millie's moved in 2012. Guru moved when he wasn't getting no love and he started Gangstar. So you see the pattern, it works. If you're not necessarily not getting no love, but it's like, if you can't, make it happen, you got to go to a bigger city with more infrastructure.
Yeah,
that's my opinion, but I think it's a fact.
Yeah, because even in the battle circuit, like me and Chilla, like we both had to go to New York and battle on. He had to go to New York to do his thing on Smack. I had to go and be out there. Even we didn't move out there, but you had to go out there. And then once you got out there, now we're trying to bring that here, but you definitely have to go.
You go there and wave the flag and you still rap home.
1000%.
But what are you going to do? Just battle people en masse?
Yeah.
Of course not. So you want to go battle the top dog, whoever that top dog is, you want to fight your way up to that guy and take his spot,
Facts, 1000%. You brought up Static. Can you speak to us about your relationship with Static, like when y'all met? You know what I'm saying? I know y'all do the show off radio.
Yep.
And some artists that, because people might know, but there might be a lot of people that's not in the know. So what's some artists that you help assist with your show off radio and who you helped in the game?
Yeah, definitely. Well, Static's my brother, man. First and foremost, that's family.
Shout out to Static.
He just recently dropped that album. It's called Round Trip. Super fire. It's his 10th studio album. And I met Static when I was 16 years old. And he had like an underground show, like a little independent show he was throwing. And I pulled up and there was some other local rappers there. And, he let me get on the mic. He let me rock at these house parties. And he used to come to Lawrence a lot and rock house parties too. I'm talking when we were 16, 17. So, we both had the same goal and the same dream. And the goal was to get into hip hop and to carry on tradition of the hip hop that we love. His favorite groups was like Gangstar, Tribe Called Quest. He wanted to be like Q-Tip. He wanted to be like Premier.
Right.
My favorite groups at the time was like Wu-Tang, a Big Pun, people like that. So we was trying to see what we thought was great about hip hop and carry it on, which we've done, which is amazing.
That's fine.
Because it was all a dream at one point. We were both been able to work with almost all of our heroes. If you was to grab a piece of paper and have us write down, 100 people that we worked with. It's like, wow, it's crazy. On each paper could be different people, but they're all incredible people that we look up to. And like I said, it started in Boston where we were, we started in Lawrence and he was in New Hampshire. I was in Lawrence and those surrounding areas. And then like we went to Boston, and when we hit a ceiling in Boston, we both moved to New York. And then once we moved to New York, it really took off and that's when we really started Show Off Records.
Got you.
And then we started touring the world together. Like I've been to 50 countries off of rap, blessed to have been to 50 different countries and didn't have to pay for a flight because people wanted me there. They wanted my presence there. You know what I'm saying? But Static is my dog, man. And he's a true gatekeeper in this culture. He definitely is responsible for putting a lot of people on the map and, not necessarily like saying that he's responsible for blowing all of us up, but he gave all of us an opportunity. I'll start with myself. He gave me an opportunity. He gave Rex an opportunity.
Shout out Rex.
Shout out to Rex, one of the first rappers to ever blow from my hood. And then it was like through his show, we were able to have Mac Miller, his first time freestyling on the radio, came through our show. We were able to help, Freddie Gibbs, Griselda. Action Bronson, his first time on blogs ever was he did a song with me called Money is Reality. And he said he went to sleep and he woke up the next day and he had 800 tweets with his name. And he's like, what the fuck is this? And then that's how he realized what the impact of blogs. There's an interview with him in Yankee Stadium. They asked him like, what was his first time, getting on blogs? And he's like, I did a song with Static and Term. And, us finding Mac Miller before Mac blew up, just stuff like that, man. It's real instrumental to the culture. Joey Badass, you know, his first mixtape was recorded.
That's kind of leading into the next question. Like, you want to run down a list of some of the artists that you work with, production wise and rap wise?
Oh yeah, we can get into that. Yeah, I was more just answering the question of artists we helped usher through the door.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. So some of those was like we was early on with, you know, co-signing. For me, I was early on co-signing. You know, Chris Rivers, Pun Son.
Yeah, Pun Son,
I was early on
Dungeons
with
and
that.
Dragons, yeah.
You know, and countless others. But, you know, Static was early on with co-signing Mac and Griselda and Gibbs and, you know, a lot of
Fire.
Joey
That's a
Badass. First mixtape was recorded in Static's basement.
Fire.
So, you know, things like that, man, we was able to help the culture a lot. Behind the scenes that people don't see, like stuff that don't show up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, that's the first time I heard Conway was on Static's, one of Static's tapes, that Birdie song. That was the first time. Birdie. That's the first time I ever heard Conway.
Amazing,
and I was like, yo, who the fuck is this? Right.
Yeah.
It was on Static shit. You know what I'm
Conway's
saying?
an animal, bro.
Conway's a different type of dude.
I'm so proud of him, you know what I'm saying? Because I seen him from the beginning. Like before nobody knew who he was. He maybe had a couple songs out to where he's at now. It's amazing. So shout out to the whole Griselda. But yeah, man, as far as like my discography, I've been able to work with like most of the rap legends that I grew up listening to, like Wu-Tang. You know, I got songs with Method Man, multiple songs with Method Man, Raekwon, Ghostface, Inspector Deck. Cannabis was one of my favorites as a kid. You know, I got records with Cannabis, the whole Locks videos, songs with the Locks, Jada, Styles, Sheik Luch. I got like 10 songs with Sheik. I got like 40 songs with Lil Fame from MOP. We got the group together, Physiology. So, you know, there's like a million. Busta Rhymes. I got a single featuring Busta, produced by DJ Premier. BET Cypher with French Montana and Mike Epps.
Yeah, I remember that.
We could just sit here all day, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? But, you know, Q-Tip, Tribe Called Quest was huge for me as a kid. Exhibit, Cassidy, I don't know. It's like this.
You name them, I did a song with them.
Yeah, I did a song with them. It feels like I did a song with everybody.
Right.
You know,
Let me ask you a question though. What was the experience like dealing with artists who were like on? Is there any misconceptions to it that people might have? Like, is it super strictly business? Lawyers get involved? Like, what is the experience with dealing with people who are really on?
Well, it's like every individual is different, right? So, for example, Method Man is a TV star and a certified hip hop legend. And he saw me and like, yo, I got you. What you need? I'll get on your album.
Fire.
And then pulled up, walked in, spit the verse, let me record it. Terms of beast, man, I love you. Walked out, left. No paperwork, no money. Then you got other guys that's like, yeah, talk to my manager. You got to clear it with my label. Go through the lawyer. You got to pay XYZ. I've paid for features. It's okay to pay for features. You're investing in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because some people are like, oh, I'm not paying nobody. Fuck that. All right, that's cool. But we're talking about business here. We're not, you know, now you're being entitled because nobody owes you shit, right? Like, for example, rest in peace, Prodigy. On my first album, I asked him to do a song with him. Mobb Deep was my favorite group at the time. He's like, no doubt, I got you, but you know, you got to throw me a little something. I'm not going to charge you the full amount. Just give me 5 bands. Bet, no problem. So I gave him the 5 bands. And we had to chase him around New York City for 2 months to get him to sign the paperwork. Because the paperwork, the label wouldn't put out the verse. So I'm like, I already got the song. I already gave him the 5 bands, but they won't let me use it until I get his signature. And the funny thing is when he finally signed it, he just did a star and put a P. He didn't write like his Albert Johnson or Prodigy, nothing. He just put a star with a P. And the label took it, and thank God, you know, the song's called Hood Shit on my first album produced by Alchemist. Shout out to Alchemist. So it's like shit like that. Now he didn't do me dirty. He was just being strictly business. You know what I mean? He still gave me a hookup. To my knowledge, he charged more than what he charged me.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure he probably did charge more.
Yeah, I've heard he charged, you know, 20, 30 to cats. So like, you know, anyway, it's just like you get some cats that's strictly business, and then you get some people that meet you and they're like, yo, I'm a fan of you. You're nice. I'll do a song with you right now. Let's do it. Those are the ones that feel better for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
So every artist is basically, it depends on who you're dealing with.
It's individuality, yeah.
Very bad.
Right.
So go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about, you know, there was a controversy in hip hop about Latinos in the hip hop community. I just wanted to ask you that because, you know, Fat Joe had said something about it. And I know just from dealing with Cortez, I'm you know what I'm saying, people in the game, do you feel like Latinos don't get the proper respect, some of them, in the hip hop community because of their ethnicity?
I always felt like that. I mean, I always felt like that. And it's just because like it was just a lack of representation.
Right.
I think that's why Latinos went so crazy when Pun finally blew up and rang off. It's like he became like our representative.
Right.
Because it was like finally somebody that was accepted by everybody. Now, Latinos have always been accepted in hip hop. I don't know if y'all noticed, but hip hop was started in 1973, August 11th, 1973 in the Bronx, right? And when it was being started, in that party was breakdancers that were Puerto Rican. It was DJs that were Puerto Rican. It was rappers that was Puerto Rican. So Puerto Ricans were from the beginning of hip hop, but on top of that, not only were they contributing to hip hop, and Black and Puerto Ricans started hip hop in the Bronx in 1973.
Puerto Rico.
It's documented facts. This is not an opinion.
No doubt.
But if you ask somebody, let's just say a random state in the middle of America, they're like, nah, this is black music. Because it just feels like it's black music. But they're not from New York. They don't know the culture. So I'm not mad at them, but it would be good if people do the knowledge and do the history on what it is. Another thing that Crazy Legs said recently was that all the pictures that were documented in 1973, there's one specific photographer who was a Puerto Rican man who took all these photos.
Oh, word?
So we wouldn't even know. We wouldn't even know what I don't know his name, but I'm sure you guys could look it up. It's on Crazy Legs page. But there was a dude who's like documented all these legendary photos and all them first house parties, all them first park jams. This dude, filmed the breakdancers, filmed everybody, and took these photos and published them. And those are the photos that we know of today of what hip hop is. So it's impossible to have hip hop without Puerto Ricans. So I will not debate that with people. You know what I'm saying? But do I feel like, Latino artists have been slighted? Absolutely. When I first got in the game, I went to every major label. I had a big buzz when I first dropped Watch How I Go Down. It was crazy.
I remember that.
I'm going to every major label, right?
Yeah.
And almost every label, because Daddy Yankee just blew up at the same time. So every label was like, yo, can you do a reggaeton song? Can you at least do one reggaeton song? And I'm like, I just played you my demo.
Right.
It's me and MOP. It's me and Prodigy. It's me and DJ Premier. It's me and Pete Rock. Where did you hear reggaeton? I don't even speak Spanish like that. Like, I'm Puerto Rican, but my Spanish is garbage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, it was a lot of racism at the labels that I dealt with. One specific label said, okay, we'll sign you. This is the amount of budget we have. Only thing you got to do is you got to get Fat Joe to say he co-signs you. I'm like, how? I don't know Fat Joe. I'm a little kid. Like, I'm like 20. I ain't even met the man yet. I'm like, how? Like, well, he's Puerto Rican and we think that would be the way. And I'm like, I don't know the man.
That was the stamp they basically was telling
you. And it was so racist.
Yeah.
Like, imagine no matter what race you are, you go to a job and they say, all right, you get the one white guy that we know is the white guy to say you're okay, and you got a job. It was like, like I was heartbroken because you're like blatantly being racist to me, but it's nothing I could do about it because you own the label. So it was a lot of frustration in the early days, but I was really mad at the industry for a while until when I finally got my first album deal and shit popped off for me. Then I just was like, okay, this is part of the game. Mad fuck shit. You're gonna have to deal with it. Just let it. If you don't like it, just don't fuck with it. Just don't subscribe to that energy. You know what I'm saying?
Right, no doubt.
But yeah, definitely, man. The Latino struggle has been real in hip hop. It's getting better now because now you turn on the radio and it's full on Spanish songs.
Yeah, for sure.
On English radio. It wasn't like that when I was trying to get a deal in 07. You know what I'm saying?
1,000%.
So speaking of Fat Joe, I've heard people compare you to like Big Pun, right?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Does it like annoy you that you being compared to him, or does it inspire you?
Nah, that was by design. I mean, I copied his style.
That's fire. I
copied his style. I mean, like that in the middle. So I just, okay, how do I do that? And I would sit in my room making up my own words that did that, because if you could physically spit it out like that, that's half the battle, right? Like, to me, being a rapper, you got to sound cool. Right? Sounding cool is the first
that charisma
battle.
Is everything.
You got to sound cool. Then, now you got to add some content to what you're saying. Because Snoop will be like, one. 2, 3 into the 4. And that shit sounds amazing.
Right.
But he's not saying nothing. But, you know, it's like, if you could sound cool,
Right.
all right, now you on to something. So I'm like, shit, I knew I didn't have the voice, and I didn't really just have the image to do the Snoop
I feel
flow.
like a lot of mass artists lack that charisma, like that sound. Like I feel like when I usually hear a lot of mass artists, I'm like, man, they don't have that sound for me.
The ones who didn't make it.
Yeah,
The ones who made it.
No, but I mean the ones that did is the ones that had that sound.
Right,
like they stood out from the average.
I agree.
I would hear a lot of local dudes and be like, you sound just like this
offbeat.
one. Or they would be offbeat, or they sound like, I can tell you from mass. Or what they would do is they would try to sound like, say like Lloyd Banks or something. Like, you sound just like, you literally sound like Lloyd Banks, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's already another Lloyd Banks, and he's going to do it better than you. You feel me? Like, so I always feel like that was my issue with a lot of mass artists. They just didn't have the charisma, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm hip. I think getting back to the Pun thing though, I just tried to take what I love most about Pun was his lyrics and delivery. Yeah. And just representing being Puerto Rican. I just tried to like wave that flag, but I didn't try to be Pun. Like I had to make my own.
Yeah, because when I listen to you, I don't.
Some of my biggest records are me going like slow. I'm just slow flowing.
I was just listening to you on the way here. I didn't think you sound like.
Yeah, but when I came out, I was deliberately trying to sound like I could rap as good as Pun. Look at me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Which nobody's better than Pun in my opinion, but just shit for people to even compare me is an honor for sure. Yeah.
Well, just quick segue. The Puerto Rican photographer, his name is Joe Conzo.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Fire.
Right? And I think it's important because in hip hop, in its insemination, just like you said, it was Puerto Rican in the Black community, and it was about community.
Right.
It was about togetherness, and I feel like some of that has gotten away from us, especially in the Boston area, because of like the whole cliquey nature. So I wanted to ask you, how important is networking in hip hop currently? And what are some mistakes you see some of these younger artists making on their way to the top?
I mean, it's like everything you said is real. I think that networking is more important than your talent, for the most part. Because if you nice, but you rubbing everybody the wrong way, or you're not willing to work with people, you're not willing to use the barter system. Like, yo, you drop a piece of merch, I'll cop it, and then you cop mine when it drops. So you repost my clip, I repost your clip, or I'll do a verse for you, you do a verse for me, or you know what I'm saying? Like if you're not willing to work with people, then you kind of people kind of don't rock with you, and that you're always gonna have people that are hard to work with. So you can't do nothing about that, but you can only do something about how you act and how you react. Right. For me, I've always been the guy that'll do the free verse if I can, or give you the hookup on the verse if I can, or come to the podcast, or come to your radio show, or come as a special guest, or do a post for you. I've always been that person that tried to be about community and try to support people in the community. I try. Can't do it all, you know what I'm saying? Because if you do 365 favors, then you're doing favors for everybody every day. You can't do nothing for yourself.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? 100%. But yeah, man, I try to show love to as many people as I can. Not because I want it back, but it does come back. That's just natural. You show love, it comes back.
100%.
No doubt. So I know you're talking about people working in the game. Like, what type of people what do you look for when you want to work with somebody? Like, what qualities that make you go, yo, I fuck with him right here? Like, you know what I'm saying? What type of qualities you look for?
Well, the first thing naturally is talent, right? If you see somebody and you're like, wow, this person is actually really talented. Because now, I think it's 100,000 people a day upload a song on Spotify.
Right. Something like that. It's some crazy number.
It was around 60,000 a day, and now I think it's closer to 100,000 a day. And and there was also another crazy stat that it was like, I forgot the amount, but it was thousands of people had uploaded songs that had not even one stream. Right. So dudes was going out their way to put a song on, and nobody heard it ever. So I mean, there's just the amount of music and the amount of artists coming out is insane. Like it's way oversaturated. So let's say somebody like my man Fabian, he's here with me today. The first thing I noticed about Fabian was he could actually rhyme. His raps like drew me in. I'm like, yo, that punchline was crazy. Oh, another one. You're not thinking he's gonna have another one and then another one. So I'm like, okay, clearly knows how to rhyme. Right? Then I told him, yo, show up to Show Off Radio at this time. You're going to rap. I bet. I'm driving all the way from Mass. I'm going to get there. Now, to some people, that's like an impossible feat. Some people have never left Mass. So he showed up all the way to NY on his dime. He went over there. He killed the freestyle. I bet. Yo, we doing the Bushwick Block Collective. You got to come right back and come rap. He's there. He's opening up. I tell him, yo, come over here. Meet me in Miami. We're going to Khaled's house. He meets me in Miami. We go to Khaled's house. These are real things that happen for Fabian because he just listened to me when I gave him an opportunity. I've given that same opportunity to 50 other rappers who didn't show up.
Right.
And it's okay. You can make all the excuses you want, but those are the results you're going to get.
That's a fact.
So for me, I looking for professionalism. I look for like somebody who has manners. I look for somebody who knows how to be a fly on the wall. Like you can't just walk in the room and just be wilding on everybody and just thinking you that. Like it's cool to know your place. You know, if you're a star, be a star. But at the same time, it's like, man, I look for people that know how to maneuver correctly, you know, and those are the type of people that I like to align myself with if I'm looking for new talent.
So let me ask you a question, right? I would consider you somebody that made it, in my opinion. I feel like you made it.
Same.
What was a moment in your career where you said to yourself, like, oh shit, I made it?
I'll say like when I did the song with DJ Premier because I was living in the hood and I wasn't getting rap money. And then once I did the song with Premier, the Watch How I Go Down in 2006, I never had to like work again. Like I didn't have to trap. I didn't have to go to a 9-to-5. I just was getting paid like thousands of dollars every week to be a rapper. Just show up and rap, do a feature, go to Europe. My whole life changed after that one song. And I'll never forget the feeling I had. It was like a euphoric feeling after because he told me, don't come to my studio without your rhymes memorized. And the song was 80 bars. So you know how hard that is.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, it's very, very, very hard to memorize 80 bars. So I did it. It was a challenge. And right before we walked in the booth, this is headquarters, the old D&D.
Yep.
He goes, you ready? And I'm like, what you mean? He's like, Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, all in that booth. Right here, we in the headquarters now. You ready? And I was like, it hit me. I'm like, yo, I gotta be ready. This is my moment. If I go in this room and flop this record, I might not have another chance. And I knocked it out the park and the song became an underground hit and changed my life. So I feel like, I think that was the moment that changed my life. And I just felt like, you know, it was on and popping ever since then. And I just been grinding ever since then. Obviously, I got way more bread now and I'm more accomplished, you know, because I was still coming from nothing. I took the Fung Wah bus to go do that song.
Fung Wah, $15.
Yes,
Yeah.
Took
Fung Wah
that bus to many a
with
battle.
the mini disc player, still playing the beat on the headphones all the way up there, tightening the rhyme up, like making sure, you know, that's what I had to go through to be where I'm at.
I took that and the Lucky Star to many a battle.
Lucky Star, yeah.
Yeah,
But I appreciate you saying that, man. But definitely, man, it's like that was a turning point for me.
Yeah. So you say you've been to 50 countries, right?
Yeah.
So, if you can, because I know you well traveled, you can give me your top 3 cities and why.
Cities or countries?
Either one.
Any?
Either one, yeah.
Switzerland is one of my favorite countries. I've been there like 5 times.
I hear that a lot.
I love Italy. I've been there about 10 times. I love Japan. I've been there 3 times. I had a really good time in Bangkok. I know everybody laughs because of movies and shit.
Pause.
It just sounds crazy, but yeah, man. Bangkok is ill, man.
Bangkok sound crazy.
Pause again. Pause
It
again.
sounds crazy.
Filth going on right now.
You know
Filth.
what it is, bro? It's the Hangover movie.
Yeah,
The Hangover movie is just so wild, you know what I'm saying? But that was lit. I love Mexico. Obviously, I love the whole Caribbean, you know, PR, DR. I love LA. I love Denver. I love Miami. I love Brockton, man. Like I said, I got my start here, man. Joe Angelo's $75 shows, you know. Shout out to Higgins.
Shout out to Rim, man.
Shout out to Rim.
Rim was at the wedding, man.
Shout out Hags. Hags been asking to come on for a minute. Too.
Yeah, word.
You gotta get me up.
Yo,
there.
Hags got all the term
Gotta get
stories,
him on,
bro. If you ever get him on here, bro, you ask him to
That's what
tell
he
I'm
you.
tells
scared
me
to
all
bring
the time.
Hags here, though, because he
you
won't
gotta
shut
do a
up.
lot of edits with Hags.
He goes, I got all the stories.
He'd be like,
we gonna
fuck
come
it.
on there and tell all the stories.
Yo, I came up here one time and I never forget. I had one of my mans did like some kind of robbery and he came up on a bunch of Jordans and I was trapping at the time, so I gave him some work and he gave me a whole bunch of Jordans. And
Allegedly.
allegedly, yeah, no Vlad. And then he,
No Vlad. We run it with that.
yeah, so he gave me these 4s, right? It was like the Concords, but it was the original ones. I think they had like the Nike on the back. It was like, and I went to the Brockton Fair with Dion. He's like, dude, no fucking way you're wearing the fucking 4s at the Brockton Fair, dude. You're fucking bugging. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds like Dion
Yeah,
too.
he's like, you're fucking bugging. And I just remember the whole time Hags just kept going, this fucking guy got the 4s on at the Brockton Fair. And I was like, what the fuck? To me, they just kicks and I got them for free. You know what I'm saying? So they were just sneakers to me. But I mean, I'm more of a sneakerhead now. So, but I just remember that moment, man. And we had a lot of good times up here doing shows in Brockton for real.
So 3 jewels you can give up and coming artists.
Man. All right. I like that. I think invest in yourself is my favorite one. A lot of times people think that that other people have to invest for you or they're gonna invest for you. And if you're going by that model, then you might end up waiting forever until it's too late. So, I think you need to invest in yourself. I invested in myself, and it's not only about money. You got to invest all of it. You got to put all into it. You got to invest your time, your energy, your focus, and money. And if you not everybody's good at getting money, right? If you're not good at getting money,
say that all the time.
It's a fact.
yeah, everybody's not good at getting money, and I understand that. But at that point, then you have to re-strategize and try to hire somebody who's good at getting money, or try to get somebody who's willing to lend you some money or invest some money into you.
Right.
But it has to happen. It's not gonna happen for you for free. It's just not.
No.
You gotta find somebody who got the bag or the vision or both, or you gotta get the bag, and you can't blindly invest. You can't just like every person that wants to take 2 racks off you to put you on a Spotify playlist, or they say this big artist is coming to town, here's 30 tickets, here's 2 stacks, and you just keep doing that 5 or 10 times thinking you're gonna pop. You don't even get to meet the artist. You go on when there's 10 people in the crowd.
The jam scam.
You get jam scammed a lot in the shit. You know what I'm saying? So you can't blindly invest. You want to like find some good mentors who've been through it or are at where you want to be at. So, investing in yourself, I think that also like tell people to make quality stuff, right? If your favorite artist is Jay-Z and you drive around hearing Jay-Z, that's the quality that you like. That means everybody else in the world likes that quality.
Yeah,
so if you put your music on in the car, if you put Jay-Z on in the car and you got the volume at 28 and everybody's rocking, and then you put yours and you got to put it all the way up to 38, you already know your shit ain't hitting.
Yeah, I'm like that too. Like that's when I judge our quality based off of like Joe Budden.
Exactly.
And I pay attention to shit like that. When I'm in the car, I'll listen to Buttons and I'll see where the volume is at, where I hear it at.
Master.
And then I'll play our shit back and be like, nah, see, ours gotta be louder.
Yes.
And so we gotta adjust the audio level.
And it didn't happen for him overnight.
Right.
It's a
But, I mean,
process.
Buttons partied for 4 years without making $1. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
exactly.
So, it's hard to make money doing this. So I mean,
But yeah, studying other greats, like, study other blueprints. Back to the presentation of the music though, I think that's one of the most important things, because if you have cover art that's like, it looks like your man did it, if it looks like you got it for $25, that's what it is. But if you
Like
put
the old Cash Money covers.
you know what I'm saying? Like, low key, them shits would probably look dope now. Shit, because now everybody you could just make a cover on Instagram or whatever.
Right.
AI.
But I think that I think having like good cover art, having a good master sonically, get music that you own. Try to stay away from all the YouTube type beats and all that.
Right.
Unless you can buy the beat, like, cause a lot of times it's like you running with other people's sounds, and that hinders you from going further in case you want to do sync licensing or, things of that nature. So, man, it's just like a trial and error thing. But yeah, being professional, investing in yourself, and making sure that your presentation is good, and try not to be too thirsty. You don't want to be like, it's okay to be hungry, but not too thirsty where you're like knocking over women in the section to get a picture with the rapper. Not cool.
Being super groupie.
Not cool, bro.
Being super groupie.
It's okay to ask for the picture.
Yeah.
It's not okay to knock over a group of ladies
to get the
or
picture.
even men.
Even men,
Like,
yeah.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Just, don't be too thirsty. Like, go for it, but wait for your moment too. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
I feel also like with us, we try not to be too accessible. Like we're not like, you get an interview, you get in. Like everybody can't, because if you're too accessible, I feel like it can kind of devalue you too. You know what I'm saying?
Water it down.
You gotta have a little bit of value. Like make yourself accessible, but not too much.
I agree.
And it doesn't mean that you're cocky or you're not. I mean, it just means you know your value. You
There's a way to make yourself accessible and exclusive, and I think Bun B has mastered that.
Yeah,
He's the most A-list artist that's everywhere.
Right.
You'll see Bun B at 5 different places a day.
That's dope.
Like,
Actually,
literally.
I seen someone on Facebook just now
everywhere.
that was with him.
But it's like, it's still hard for you. Like, if you want to get him here, it's not gonna happen like that. You got to work on it. He's exclusive, but he's still everywhere.
Right.
So, picking the right things to do.
I like the way you put that.
But grinding, though.
Accessible but exclusive at the same time.
Accessible but
I like
exclusive,
Fine. Clip that.
So let me look. Clearly, you have a lot of fans, right? But who was one fan that kind of maybe surprised you that they were a fan? Like XL told me one time, he's like, "Yo, believe it or not, Topanga from Boy Meets World is a fan of battle rap."
Battle
He's
rap.
like,
Yeah.
so,
Crazy
I'm a
story.
fan. He's like, I was shocked. Who was somebody that was a fan of yours that you was like, oh shit, you're a fan?
Man, that's crazy. I think, it probably sounds like more normal now, but when it happened, I think Michael Rappaport was one of the first ones.
Michael Rap.
Because now he's a podcaster. He's very outspoken and he's hip hop. People know he likes hip hop. He's documentaries with Tribe.
Right.
But I'm talking about like 2006, right when I dropped Watch How It Go Down. I did a show in Brooklyn, and I remember him he's walking around the back, and he's like, "Where's this Termanology guy? I want to meet this guy. Where is he? I want to meet him. Where's the Termanology guy? I want to meet him." And so, I finally met him, and I gave him dap, and he said, "What up?" And he was like, "Man, you fucking nasty, bro. You're fucking nasty." And,
I can hear that.
Yeah,
I can see that too.
So we've been cool ever since. I went to his house with Bun, and Bun and Static did his podcast. And he's a great guy, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mike, man. But I think that was one of the first ones that I was like, oh shit. Like, cause I'm talking about watching Higher Learning.
Right.
You watching these movies as a kid, right?
Yeah.
And he plays such a good role in the movie and all that. But it's like, when you meet these people, it's like, oh shit. But that was a good one. Rasheed Wallace was a big one for me. I was in, what city was I in? Detroit. I think it was Grand Rapids. I was doing a show in Grand Rapids. I was opening for Red and Meth in 2008. And my man Hectic was like frantically looking for me in the back. Everybody, Hectic looking for you. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, yo, man. He's like, Rasheed Wallace want to meet you, man. Right? So like, I don't know how tall Rasheed is. He got to be 7 feet, right?
Yeah, he's tall.
6'11" something.
6'9", 6'10".
So y'all know how short I am, right? So when I finally met him, he's like, yo, what up, man? I was like, pause. I was like at his waistline, you know what I'm saying? So it was crazy. But he was like, yo, man, you fucking killed that shit, because I opened up. And he was like, he just wanted to meet me, you know what I'm saying? Because he thought I was dope. So shit like that just really, really, really is cool, man.
That's fire.
Shot Money XL. Shot Money XL called my manager one time, like, yo, who's Termanology, man? I feel like he's outspoken. He could be like the new Eminem. Like he's special.
That's word.
So I met him. He picked me up.
That's
fire.
Picked me up in the whip. He played my demo.
big comparison.
Listened to it. The Game reached out when I was in Unsigned Hype, 2005.
Remember that?
He heard of my manager, like, yo, I want to meet the Termanology kid. Bring him by my studio. So I went over there, met the Game, took some pictures and all that. Gave him my demo. So stuff like that happening, early on in my career was like, all right, Hollywood and show business is smaller than it seems.
Yeah, for sure. 1000%.
Once somebody becomes a fan of you, they're a fan for life, provided you don't do no fuck shit. And it's love. You just keep building the network.
Good.
Yeah.
Good Dad Gang. Good Dad Gang.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the Good Dad Gang is a movement that I established in 2014. Started out as a hashtag, me hanging out with my kids on the weekend, living in New York during the week, then driving home every single weekend to see my daughter for 5 years. It's not easy. It wasn't easy for me, but I made sure I was present in my kids' life. And I had my kids every Sunday. So I had to make sure I was here, every weekend in Massachusetts. And, just bending over backwards to give it all in my career and give it all to being a dad. So that was hard. I mean, just driving back and forth from New York every week is hard enough, but being able to finance that as an independent rapper when money's not always coming in, especially in those days, it was like it was a struggle, but I made sure I did it. And so Good Dad Gang was just like from the heart. It wasn't meant to become a clothing line or a worldwide known brand or any of that. It was just like, I'm hanging out with my kids. We're going to the park. Good Dad Gang. I would write it on the gram.
Right.
And everybody started saying, when are you going to make a shirt? When are you going to make a hat? And, you know, I made one shirt at the flea market,
Right.
you know, $15 shirt.
Right.
And I took a picture with it. And that day I got 40 comments on the gram. Yo, I need 5. I need one for my dad. I need one for my husband. And, you know, from then I trademarked it. I incorporated it. I copywrote it. And, from then to now, I mean, look, we got basketball jerseys. We got a collaboration with Patrick Ewing. This is our second pair. Our first pair sold out.
Fire.
You know, we're the first Father's Day shoe ever. There's never been a company to make a shoe directly for fathers. So
Fire.
we're the first, you know, we got Puerto Rico Air Force Ones. We got, you know, Valentine's Day Air Force Ones. We got Ben and Jerry's Air Force One. We got everything ever, but we didn't got nothing for the dads. So, you know, I'm proud that I was able to put my, you know, my stamp on fashion through Good Dad Gang and have it be about something. And speaking more about like people who are fans and being impressed, that came through Good Dad Gang, a lot of that. Like Jamie Foxx FaceTimed my phone and was like, yo, Good Dad Gang, let me know what I can do. I wear this hat. I wear this hat every day to my set.
That's fire.
And people think it's my brand. They ask me every day, what is Good Dad Gang? He's like, I got your back, bro. Like, he's like, yo, send me 40 hats. I just want to give them away to my peoples.
Tough.
He was taking pictures with his Rolls Royce, putting it on the Phantom. Good Dad Gang, you know, taking pictures. You know, he had back during the COVID time, he had a Louis Vuitton mask on with the ill shades with the Good Dad Gang. So he was doing like, you know, kind of like secret promo for me, like lightly hinting at this is a cool thing you guys should pay attention to. So shout out to Jamie Foxx, man. You know, I hope he has a full recovery and he gets better. But a lot of celebrity cosigns, man. Ludacris was posting us all the time. He bought a new car. He's like, I got my dream car, and he had the Good Dad Gang shirt on. I got my new motorcycle, Good Dad Gang. Who knew my Jordans would match my Good Dad Gang shirt? And these are not things that I paid for. You know, these are A-list celebrities who just like the idea of a fatherhood brand. And since then, I mean, it's been 8 years. There's about 100 fatherhood brands now. There's a lot of fake Good Dad Gangs out there. There's and I'm flattered because I think it was needed. I think we want to promote. We want to promote fathers being, you know, in their kids' life, but we don't want to promote people stealing either. So, like, you know, create your own thing.
Word. Hell yeah.
Good Dad Gang is Good Dad
Stop
Gang.
jacking my
It was
man
trademarked
shit.
in 2014. You can look it up. It's public record. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
We did the collab with a Gangstar, the hat you're wearing, the DJ Premier collab, which is like crazy. Cause they've never done that. They don't do that. You
They
know,
don't do that at all.
with
You're right.
Guru, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
His estate has to say yes to these things. You know what I'm saying? So when I presented the idea to DJ Premier, you know, I saw it on his face. He was he didn't know if he wanted to do it. He said, I'll think about it. And then he said, yo, you know what? We're going to do it. Cause he's a good dad. He's in his kid's life a lot. And, once we did the Good Dad Gangstar, then we did the billboard in Times Square, and Premier came out. We had all the fathers come out with their kids to the billboard, and I was able to bring my kids on Father's Day, and they was able to see, you know, my little daughter saw herself on the billboard in Times Square, you know.
Fire.
So these are memories that we created, and for fathers, and all it's ever been about is just promoting fathers being in their kids' life. This year is going to be our 9th backpack giveaway. Last year we gave away 1,200 backpacks in Lawrence, Massachusetts. Shout out to Pup Dog. He comes through every year, brings the jamming bus. He comes through and reps. He never asks for no money, you know. And we do this out of our pockets. We don't have corporate sponsors. We're doing this like, yo, Peasy, give me $50. Yo, give me $50. Give me $50. We all put money in. Go to Walmart. Go buy bags. We stuff them ourselves, and we give them to the kids. With Lawrence being the poorest city in Massachusetts, it needed that help. And I'm happy I've been able to do this for 9 years strong. So yeah, we're a clothing line. We're a movement. We got 100 tattoos that I know of.
I was about to say that because I see the tattoos on the gram all the time.
Tattoos everywhere.
Yeah,
we just hit our 100 tattoo that we know of.
Fire.
So the movement is strong, bro, and it's only getting bigger and better. I got a lot more ideas that I'll save because I just dropped the jersey. And, you know, Father's Day is, we're in the week of Father's Day, and the sneakers just dropped. So I'm very proud of the brand, man. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who, you know, who wears the brand, who tattoos it on them, who posts it, who hashtags it. And don't wear my sneakers if you're a bad dad, please.
Yeah.
Word.
If you're a deadbeat, don't cop these.
No,
wear them
no
joints,
deadbeat, no
Not
deadbeats in
for
the good dad
deadbeats.
gang.
Not for deadbeats.
Yeah, it's not
But
for
you got
y'all.
any events coming up for Father's Day?
Yeah, man. So, with the Father's Day thing, excuse me, we had a pop-up in New York City last week, and it just happened to be that day that the smoke took over New York City from Canada.
From Canada, right.
So it was crazy because all the way up until the last minute, we thought it was canceled. I mean, you couldn't even breathe. Everybody's out there wearing the N95 mask, health warning. The flights got taken. Like you couldn't even get a flight out of New York. While they're not doing that, we popping bottles. Yo, buy my sneaker. You know what I'm saying? So it was lit. Shout out to Cortez. He came through. A bunch of people came. Static came out. Destroyed. So a lot of people came out and supported the pop up. I think I'm gonna do another pop up at home. I've been wanting to do one in Massachusetts.
That'd be dope. You do that.
So yeah, hopefully I could do one soon out here in Mass. I'll definitely send you guys an invite.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll
pull up.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
Know that, man.
Hey.
Yeah,
Pride ourselves
let's
on
get
that,
it, man.
Yeah,
We
we can
talk
definitely
off the
figure
air.
Definitely.
Yeah.
2 weeks out the month from a good
I
dad.
actually brought all three of y'all shirts. I brought 4 because I knew y'all had another co-host. I brought 4 shirts, so I'm raising awareness for the fathers who can't see their kids. There's a lot of fathers that can't see their kids because of old court cases or custody, through court, whatever the reason is. There's a lot of parental alienation going on in this world, and I feel like, provided you're not a rapist or like you're not a super bad person, you should be able to see your kid. Provided you didn't do no super fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? I think if you're a good dad and you want to be in your kid's life, you should be able to be in your kid's life. So it's really sad that millions of fathers are not able to see their kids. So the next piece of merch I drop, it's called it's called Stop Parental Alienation, and it says Good Dad Gang on the back. So I brought all of y'all one of those shirts. You know what I'm saying? Just for the dads out there that are sitting at home crying their eyes out right now because all they want to do is see their son and they can't because somebody lied on them or the wife woke up in the middle of the night, took the kid, moved away. Now you can't find your kid, and this happens every day of the week. And there's a group in Australia called 21 Fathers. And it's 21 fathers, I believe it's a month or a week, that killed themselves in Australia. And part of the reason is some of them are war veterans. They're like so sad what they're going through with that. But a lot of them are going through parental alienation and they can't see their kid due to the court system.
It's funny, I just put up a statistic about, well, I didn't put it up, but that was a conversation about the pressures of everyday life for a man in this world.
Yeah.
And it's a lot harder than what people think. It's minimized. But one of the statistics that I had, I believe it said women win 84 or 86% of custody hearing.
Absolutely.
Which leaves men at like 16, 17%. It's clearly a problem and bias there.
Yeah. Well,
so
we can get into
to be brought to that.
We can get into a long conversation about that, but there's money to be made off every man that gets put on child support.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's money that's made and given to the state. Right? There's budgets, there's arrears, there's a lot of stuff going on there. There's no money to be made when the family's together.
Right.
So, we'll keep it there. I don't want to get super political, Black Panther on you guys and start talking about all the
talk your shit, King.
Nah, I mean real shit.
Turn into a 3-hour podcast.
We know what it is. Everybody in this room, I think knows what it is and knows why these things happen to our communities, and part of it was taking the father out of the household.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So since we know that, I mean, if you're into that type of shit, do your research and look it up. But I think we need more people to speak out about it. And I think even more than that, I think we need people to actually do something about it as far as like trying to change laws. Yeah. Because, there's some states where fathers have more rights than others. So, it would be great if Massachusetts could kind of get up to speed and treat parents like parents,
The mother has to be a complete piece of shit out here for you to get custody of your kids.
She would have to be on heroin or go to jail. It would have to be really bad for you to be awarded full physical custody.
That's a fact.
Otherwise you have to go fight for it and you're given visitation. Visitation is not being a parent.
No.
It's basically kidnapping.
Yes, it is,
I'm going to take your kid and let you know that you can have him on Wednesday 2 hours a week.
2 hours,
and be happy with that. And
sometimes that shit's supervised.
Real talk. And this happens to men all the time. So, I just wanted to bring awareness to that and just say, that I feel for all the good dads and I feel for all the dads that, that want to see their kids that can't. Once again, though, we don't fuck with deadbeats. So, usually when I post stuff like that, it'll be a girl in the comment like, my baby daddy ain't shit. We wasn't talking to you.
Yeah,
Wasn't talking to you.
Wasn't talking
I know
Not you,
you
mama.
dying, I know
Nah.
you dying to
There's always
interject
one,
yourself,
yo,
but
right.
this is not about you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're talking about good dads that want to be in their kid's life that deserve a shot. We're not talking about you because you chose the wrong baby daddy and he's a piece of shit.
Right.
Like, just take yourself out of the conversation.
And I bet you if you look at her track record, she probably chooses a lot of pieces of shit, yo. She
Well,
just don't
shit,
wanna have
that's
that
another conversation
That's a
too.
whole
You know what I'm
nother
saying?
part.
Bro, it's a whole nother
Yeah,
conversation, man.
Before you get out of here, I definitely want to say, so again, I'm known as the disembodied voice on the show.
Word.
Okay.
The producer.
You hear him,
of
but
the
you don't see him.
podcast.
He's Parks. He's the Parks.
He's a Parks. Yeah, he's a Parks.
I got you.
No, but I like to throw my 2 cents and sentimental value into these episodes. And I have to say, just hearing your story and seeing where it ended up, because there's a lot of people who had a rough background, such as yourself, and it broke them. And to watch you kind of like not only like not fold, but thrive in the environment that you came from and make something positive out of it, looking at how your relationship with your dad was and creating an entire brand and a movement on changing that and breaking the
Cycle.
chain and breaking the cycle, that is extremely important. And that is going to be a large stamp on your legacy, not only in hip hop, but as a fucking humanitarian. And I just wanted to give my hats off.
Thank
Salute,
you, bro.
salute.
I appreciate that.
Applaud my dude,
Nah,
man.
that's real, man.
Yes, sir.
I really appreciate that. You know, I appreciate those kind words, and those are facts. And you know what? I wish that everybody would see me like that and not like.
Right.
Unfortunately, so we got some evil spirits that gonna wake up in the morning and just be like,
You always gonna have
yo,
the
fuck
haters,
you.
man.
Just wake up in the morning. Yo, fuck you for living. You know,
Right.
that's what it is, bro. You're gonna get that. Everybody's not gonna like you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
you can't win them all,
you
bro.
gotta just let that rock, man.
I think you just
99%
gotta
of the
accept
people
it,
are gonna
man.
like you if you're a good person
Right.
and you just, you know,
Right.
if you're not doing no foul shit, like
Right.
people just, all right, he cool, but you know, everybody's not gonna like you. But I do appreciate those kind words, man. And I am very proud of the Good Dad Gang. I'm very proud of it. I've seen its effects. I've seen homies of mine that kids live right down the street from them, and they never going to see their kids. They're doing too much. They're outside with the chicks. They're outside getting fucked up. They're getting locked up. They're paying attention to everything else but the kid.
Right.
And then they see me every week with my kids, every day. Yo, my daughter's school play. My daughter here. My daughter here. I'm with my kids here. I'm with my Good Dad Gang. To the point where they start feeling bad. Like, damn, I got to start chilling with my kids.
Right.
So I did my job because I didn't know I was doing that. I did it to say like, yo, look, I'm with my kids. I love my kids. And it actually turned into a point where I'm changing men's life. I'm holding men accountable. You know, so technically doing a favor for the world and the community. You know,
Good shit.
As you're supposed to.
Exactly.
true indeed.
Well, we about to.
I want you to look into that camera. Yeah, right there. So you look into that camera and the shameless blood. Where can you find you?
Yeah.
Everything.
All right, cool, man. Termanology here. You can follow me everywhere at Termanology ST. You can check out my website, Good Dad Gang. That's gooddadgang.com. You can check that out if you want to buy the sneakers. It's EwingAthletics.com. Shout out to Patrick Ewing and my man DJ Trace who designed the shoe. So shout out to my brother Trace. Make sure you follow him. I got my brother Fabian in the house with me. Shout out to my brother Fabian. Amazing rapper. Very, very talented. If you go to his page, you can check him out. Super dope rapper. I got too many things to plug, but I will say this. I just dropped my 48th project. It's called the Summer Pack. It's out right now. This summer, I'm dropping my 49th project with Paul Wall. We're running it back for our second album. And this is the 50th year of hip hop. So, you know, before the year's over, I'm going to drop my 50th project December 8th. So make sure you look out for those new projects. Go buy the sneakers, buy the jersey. Follow me on Instagram. Love is Love, Shade 45, 7 to 9 p.m. Every Thursday, my brother Static Selector. And you know I'm co-hosting on there too. So you already know. Love is Love. Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
it, man. Appreciate you coming on, bro.
You already.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Salute.
You do me one last favor before you go.
Yeah.